Hi there, welcome to the Norwich City end of season video for the 2001-2002 season. A real roller coaster of a ride for us all at the club, just as it might have been for you all. The end of the season proved incredibly exciting for everyone, and the drama of the final, the league matches against Stockport, the playoff semi-final success against Wolves. And then there was a fantastic final day out at Cardiff. What a day that was. What we'll do is our best to make this year go all the way to the Premiership. Makes it all that easier with the fantastic support of the crowd. Enjoy the new season, enjoy the video.
Malky Mackay, one of the stars of a season that started Millwall's new den.
Eiffel's turn. Eiffel's ball in. Claridge, Cahill, Claridge! Old dog, same old tricks. 11 minutes into a new season and Steve Claridge, age 35, is off and running again. Mackay's header out. Reed's hit! Fabulous goal! Absolutely terrific from Stephen Reed. He is the player of the moment at Millwall, and you see in microcosm there just why. Reed got away from Russell, and again, good saving goes Cahill. The game is Millwall's. It's the opening day they dreamed about, and Tim Cahill has made that certainly so. Livermore has found Lucas Neal. 4.
Some fans seem to be fearing the worst 7 days later as the home season got underway. But the vast majority were in good voice when Ewan Roberts led the Canaries out against Manchester City at Carrow Road. Kevin Keegan's side overwhelming favourites for the Division 1 Championship, but City were about to prove their promotion credentials too. Robert Green was at his acrobatic best, the young goalkeeper clearly determined to show the previous season's top player Andy Marshall, now with Ipswich, wouldn't be missed. And a certain Frenchman came on in what proved to be one of the most inspired substitutions of the entire campaign. Within seconds, quite literally, Mark Lieber had produced a goal of which would have graced any footballing stage in the world. As adept a piece of control and finishing as anything on view all season. And it was about to get even better for the Canary faithful.
Abbey. Holt steaming forward, McVeigh as well. This is Mulrine. And McVeigh in a bit of space! Has sealed the victory for Norwich City! The substitutes have done the business for Norwich. And the debacle at Millwall last week can be forgotten for Nigel Worthington and his team today.
Hopes of an exciting run in the Worthington Cup were quickly dashed away to second division Brentford. Kevin O'Connor scoring in the final minute to condemn the Canaries to a first-round exit. Never mind, City were poised to embark on a 3-match winning run in Division 1. Four days later at Wimbledon, Mark Lieber showed his potential once again. Not with a dazzling turn of foot this time, but with that perfectly taken header. 3 hard-won points against a Don side who are never anybody's pushovers. Norwich manager Nigel Worthington's former club Sheffield Wednesday were the visitors for the second home game of the season, but there was no room for sentiment as Ewan Roberts' first goal of the campaign, a typical far post header, set the Canaries on the road to a reasonably comfortable 2-0 win. Paul McVeigh floating in the cross, one of many valuable contributions during the season from the ex-Tottenham man. In the second half, McVeigh gave us a further glimpse of the outstanding form he would show for most of the campaign when he raced clear to wrap up the points with this clinical finish. Mainly a player on the fringes of the first team since his arrival in March 2000, McVeigh would now grab the chance given him by Nigel Worthington with both hands. Next up, Nottingham Forest the opposition at Carrow Road, and a cracker of a winning goal for the Canaries, courtesy of some lovely interplay between Ewan Roberts and Zima Abbey, the ex-Cambridge man with the clinical finish. Abbey's second goal for the club, and it seemed that he and Roberts were forming a thoroughly productive striking partnership. Sadly, it was to prove his only goal of the season, as he was struck down by a cruciate knee ligament injury in the very next game. Now then, you need a little bit of luck when you're playing away from home, even if Rotherham had lost their previous match at Millmoor by 4 goals. But Paul McVeigh certainly earned his. A long-distance shot deflected past the goalkeeper by the unfortunate Rob Scott. Robert Green once again proved an almost impenetrable barrier as the last line of defence. That save from Alan Lee emphasising his growing stature as the Norwich number 1. But luck usually evens itself out. Adam Drury certainly felt hard done by with this penalty decision, which allowed the South Yorkshire side to snatch a point. Recognise the penalty taker? Yes, Mark Robbins, the ex-Norwich and Manchester United striker, as deadly as ever from the spot. 2 points dropped, but with 2 home matches to come, a reasonable enough reward. With Gianluca Vialli in charge at Watford, the Hornets were expected to give Norwich a good footballing match, and so it proved. Although it was the Canaries producing most of the better moves, they had a great rarity, a 20-yard goal from Ewan Roberts. And the second goal was even more of a collector's item, a header from the Danish wingback Steen Nedergaard. He was rapidly establishing himself as a firm favourite among the fans. The visitors did manage to pull a goal back, a close-range effort from the former Celtic and Tottenham defender Raymond Vega. But the Canaries' remarkable home season form at Carrow Road was to continue, thanks to a second-half header from the ever-dependable Malky Mackay. He was also a firm favourite with City fans, very much in the mould of a latter-day Duncan Forbes. And so the Canaries took their 100% home record into the next match against league leaders Burnley, a side firmly among the promotion favourites. But Gary Holt's thunderbolt there, after just 4 minutes of play, totally took the wind out of the Lancashire side's sails. Norwich doubled their advantage early in the second half with a goal in sharp contrast to the first. Darryl Russell's shot blocked, Ewan Roberts eventually managing to bundle the ball over the goal line. By no means a classic this, but a typical poacher's goal for the Welsh international. Burnley's 34-year-old veteran defender Gordon Armstrong netted with a close-range volley just 3 minutes later. That left City with a nerve-wracking final half-hour to face. But Fortress Carrow Road remained unbreached, and the Canaries' early season form had taken them to within 2 points of Burnley with a game in hand. The North End boys were about to hit form in a big way, helped by this penalty decision against Craig Fleming after only 2 minutes. Former Luton Town player Graham Alexander produced the perfect penalty kick, and Preston went on to dominate the match. A rasping 20-yard drive from Jonathan Macken, later to be signed by Manchester City in a deal worth around £5 million, made it 2-0 on 14 minutes. Defender Robert Edwards produced the 33rd minute header, which just managed to creep in at the far post. And by half-time, it was 4-0. A well-worked move finished in fine style by Macken for his second goal of the game. Easy to see why Kevin Keegan valued him so highly. City managed to shut up shop in the second half, but by then the damage had been done. 2 more away defeats were to follow. The first at Sheffield United, where Carl Asaba turned in a right-wing cross to give the Blades the lead 5 minutes before half-time. Then the Canaries' defence was undone by a long throw from the right, and the Cameroon international Patrick Soufo was able to volley home and put the home side 2 up in the dying seconds of the half. With 7 minutes left, Steen Nedergaard netted direct from a free kick wide on the left and salvaged a point. Next up, one of the most disappointing results of the season. Robert Green producing a wonderful save at Walsall, only to see Tony Barras beat him with a stooping header just before half-time. But the second goal from the home side was fully deserved. Darren Byfield driving home from the corner of the City penalty area to seal a 2-0 victory, ending a run of 7 defeats and 2 draws in 9 games for out-of-sorts Walsall. So it was important for Norwich to end a worrying sequence of away defeats. They did precisely that in the next game at Gillingham. 2 goals in the final 9 minutes, both of them from Ewan Roberts, brought the striker's tally to 4 in his last 9 games. And it made sure that the Canaries went into their next 2 home matches in very good heart indeed. West Bromwich Albion came to Carrow Road with a run of 8 wins in 11 matches behind them, but they found Ewan Roberts in classic goal-poaching mood, beating the offside trap and nodding the ball over the advancing goalkeeper. The Albion rearguard appealed for offside in vain, the replay showing Roberts had perfectly judged his moment to move forward and apply exactly the right contact to give the Canaries the lead. 3 minutes later, and City wrapped up the points following some excellent work on the left again by Paul McVeigh. A perfect cross invited a goal-bound header. Mark Rivers duly obliged. Not a player generally noted for his ability in the air, but this was one that was tailor-made for any forward. A 2-0 victory putting Norwich back up to 3rd place in Division 1. So Norwich went into their next match with Portsmouth on the 23rd of October, still protecting a 100% home record. And for the first time this season, they were to allow 2 points to escape their clutches at Carrow Road. Ewan Roberts missed a chance you'd probably expect him to take 9 times out of 10. His flying header flashing the wrong side of the post from a City viewpoint. Pompey escaped with a point, City's first goalless draw of the campaign. Former Norwich player Steve Bruce was to figure large, of course, in City's last match of the season as manager of Birmingham. But Canary fans were blissfully unaware of that when he led Crystal Palace to a 3-2 win at Selhurst Park. A twisting turning run capped by a perfectly deflected header from Clinton Morrison, giving the Londoners the half-time lead. A wonderful piece of skill this, appreciated rather more by the home fans than those who'd made the trip down from Norwich. And the Palace goal tally quickly became 2, then 3 in the second half. Some rather indecisive defending, allowing Morrison to net his 2nd of the game, firing his low drive past the diving Green. It was to be a good season of consolidation for the London side, who would eventually finish 4 places behind the Canaries in the Division 1 table. And they certainly produced a sweeping attack to leave the Norwich defence all at sea again. Dougie Freedman apparently putting the match beyond City's reach with a well-taken goal on 65 minutes. But the Canaries gave Palace fans plenty of anxious moments after this free kick from Mark Libra pierced the home side's defensive wall and somehow evaded the goalkeeper's lunge to his left. Perfectly placed by the Frenchman, but not one the goalkeeper Matthew Clark will want to see again too soon. Libra was also instrumental in winning the penalty, which saw City fight back to within a goal of the Eagles. Ewan Roberts emphatically converting from the spot, but Norwich could not quite find the extra goal to earn an unlikely point. The big surprise of the season so far, midfielder Phil Mulryan's failure to score for City. He put that right with 2 goals in one game at Grimsby, the first stabbed in from close range, and the second capitalising on some tasty work down the left from Mark Leibra 13 minutes after the break. A good way to end October, Norwich City's 3rd away victory of the season. By the time Wolverhampton Wanderers came to Carrow Road for the first game of November, Dave Jones's team were atop of the Division 1 pecking order, but they encountered a City side at the top of their game. Ewan Roberts with the opening goal against his former club with 7 minutes gone. The man who can do no wrong as far as most Norwich City supporters are concerned, with his 5th goal then in 6 games for the Canaries. And this arguably Norwich's best goal of the season. Leibra with a deft flick there, but Mark Rivers as provider was the real star, picking out Paul McVeigh with a right-wing cross. And the young Northern Ireland international netted his 3rd of the campaign with a corking half volley into the top corner. An effort well worth the celebrations. A goal of the season for Norwich City definitely, and perhaps one for the entire division. You certainly don't get too many quality crosses like this during the course of an average match, and the class of McVeigh's finish certainly couldn't possibly be bettered. City looking sharp then at both ends of the field, because Robert Green again showed his increasing value to the team with another top-class save low to his right. It made sure City ended up 2-0 winners, reclaiming 2nd spot, just a couple of points behind Wolves. Bradford were the next visitors to Carrow Road 7 days later, and hopes were high City could jump to the top of the league. But Ewan Roberts' shot, blocked by the keeper, followed by Mark Rivers' lob onto the crossbar, hinted it might be a frustrating afternoon. And so it proved, as Bradford nicked the half-time lead with 2 goals inside 2 minutes. Eon Jess netting first with a firm header that came as a major shock to the confident Canaries. The marking not all it might have been, but it was a very well-worked goal. And the defending left something to be desired yet again just a couple of minutes later, although it was a rather fortunate goal that left City with an even bigger mountain to climb. There were several chances to clear here before Robert Blake's shot eventually was deflected past the unlucky Robert Green. A critical goal to concede at that stage, and it was always going to be difficult to come back from a 2-goal deficit. After the break, a double blow for Robert Green, conceding a penalty with that foul on Blake. A clear-cut enough decision, and he was then beaten from the spot by the same player, the ball going under his body, even though he did guess the right way. Momentary hope for the Canaries came in the shape of a wonderfully adept piece of finishing from Paul McVeigh, judging his volley to perfection as the ball came over his right shoulder. One of the hardest skills to perfect, as any professional footballer will tell you. Sadly though, it brought no reward, because another piece of ill fortune gave Bradford an unlikely 4-1 away victory. Malky Mackay it was, blasting his clearance straight at Mark Bower. The ball rebounding straight into the Norwich net. A good win for Bradford, but the scoreline rather flattering. Norwich had one of the best attendance records in the entire division for much of the season, and this was one of the heaviest defeats suffered by the Canaries at home in recent years. Never mind, bottom club Stockport with only one win all season was the next destination. 3 points, surely. It didn't work out that way. Glyn Hurst found himself unmarked in the Norwich penalty area, and he wasn't about to look that particular gift horse in the mouth. The home fans jubilant, not surprising really, after what had been a dreadful start to the season for Stockport County. A free kick lobbed into the City penalty area gave Carlton Palmer the chance to prove he's still got what it takes at this level. This was his first game in charge as player-manager at Stockport, and at 2-0 the Canaries were heading for what was probably their most disappointing away defeat of the season. Norwich once again looking susceptible to a high ball into the penalty area. In the main, Norwich failed to make their extra ability tell, although Mark Rivers could be forgiven for thinking he'd pulled a goal back before this last-ditch goal line clearance. The luck certainly wasn't with them, but they did go on to produce a goal of pure class. A well-worked move down the left, this one involving Daryl Such, and it was eventually taken with great aplomb here by Phil Mulrine. Although it couldn't prevent them from slipping to a 2-1 defeat, which few, if any, pundits had predicted. Mulrine's goal was a classic of its kind, but it certainly couldn't make up for 3 points very definitely lost. 2 successive league defeats then, but City still in a very healthy 5th position in the Division 1 table. Back on home ground, Norwich looked a little more comfortable against Crewe Alexandra, but still dropped important points against yet another of the struggling sides.
Thomas lets it run, in goes the cross, heading chance and a goal for Crewe Alexandra. And it's a central defender, David Walton, who breaks the deadlock. It was a really inviting chance for Walton. Cross swung in, and there was Walton at the far post. Here's Mark Rivers for Norwich City. The boos tell you that. Here's cross towards Roberts. There's Libra! Looks like it's back on level terms. Libra's 4th goal for the club this season. 6 yards, he was never going to miss. Rivers, the creator, against his former side. Roberts with the intelligent knockdown. Libra beats Bancoli, and Norwich are back on terms. Rivers with a corner for Norwich City. Towards Ewan Roberts with a header down. Bancoli, it's off the bar. It's Mark Libra's 2nd goal of the game. Roberts causing a real handful for the Crewe defenders, and Mark Libra on hand to score his 2nd and Norwich's 2nd of the game. Rivers ball in, Roberts throws high to ball, Bancoli got a hand to it, half cleared by the Crewe defence, and Libra off the bar into the net. Norwich lead 2-1. 5 goals this season now for Mark Libra. They've come from behind, 2-1 they lead. Looking for a late equaliser, it's David Wright. Chips the ball in. Falls here for Rob Hulse. For Dave Brammer, and Crewe have levelled with 5 minutes remaining. Norwich have been hit by a sucker punch, an equaliser from Dave Brammer. And the 1-goal margin is cancelled out. Rob Hulse created the chance, and Dave Brammer fired home from 8 yards.
2-2 the result. Barnsley at home came 4 days later.
Libra to McVeigh. Ewan Roberts, good save off the post and forced in from no more than a matter of inches by Ewan Roberts. It wasn't pretty, but they all count. Ewan Roberts gives Norwich City the lead. Cross delivered, Roberts lurking again, Ewan Roberts! And a super save from Kevin Miller. It's Darren Barnard. Now stands over. Sent in, and Green was flapping, and it's forced in, and Barnsley have a leveller. And here's Mulrine, it's Phil Mulrine, real chance, and a goal for Norwich City, taken with real style by Phil Mulrine. A really well taken goal from Mulrine. His fourth of the season for Norwich City. The ball played through, and Mulrine took his time, picked his spot, and puts Norwich City back in the lead.
We've passed the ball better in all the games than what we have done today, but we stuck to the task, and their keepers made 3 or 4 blinding saves to keep them in the game. And at 1-1, you know what I mean, you're always thinking, well, if they nick one, it can spoil the day, but we stuck to the task, kept tight at the back, and we go and got the all-important winner, so it's an excellent 3 points.
The Canaries opened December with an important away win. Ewan Roberts taking his tally for the season into double figures, putting his side ahead at Fratton Park. In a match which was far more entertaining than the clash between the two clubs at Carrow Road 6 weeks earlier, Kevin Harper produced a Portsmouth leveller out of the very top draw. Robert Green left helpless by a perfectly directed curling shot 5 minutes later. And in fairness, you have to say Pompey produced what was probably the move of the game here, and a pretty good shot too. Not quite good enough though to evade Robert Green. Another great save for him, and he was certainly developing into one of the very best goalkeepers in Division 1. The match did seem to be petering out into a 1-1 draw until Darrell Russell crossed, and Carl Tyler very obligingly directed his header past his own goalkeeper 5 minutes from time. Pressure from Ewan Roberts here caused the mistake. The striker would certainly have been delighted at the accuracy of the own goal. In the closing minutes, Green produced another of those outstanding saves which characterised his season. His split-second reaction stopped from just a couple of yards, making sure all 3 points headed towards Norfolk. Norwich went to St Andrews just 4 days before Steve Bruce finally took over as Birmingham manager, and with Tommy Mooney netting a hat-trick, it looked a great decision for the former Crystal Palace boss. The bustling former Watford man here out-jumping the normally dependable Craig Fleming. Indeed, Mooney's second goal had to rate among the best in the division all season. A dipping drive at a sharp angle, which Robert Green could get nowhere near. A rather one-sided game in the end, which gave no indication of the epic encounter which would ensue 6 months later. The Brazilian forward Marcelo, later allowed to leave on a free transfer, fired the Blues into a 3-goal lead, and from the penalty spot, Mooney completed his treble and a 4-0 defeat for Norwich. The chance to atone against another Midlands team, Coventry, came at Carrow Road the following week.
That's for Rivers. Chico's back there. Mark Rivers still, deflected shot into the net. Mark Rivers scores. His second goal for the club, Mark Rivers. It gives Norwich the lead against Coventry City by 1-0. Good play here from Mulrine. No handball. The referee quite right in his decision. Mulrine saw the run of Rivers. Chipo came across. Rivers was strong, and the shot deflects in off Mohamed Konjic in the end, but Rivers will claim it. Only his second goal for the club since his move from Crewe in the summer, and Mark Rivers gives Norwich a well-earned lead. penalty and debut now for the player on loan from Wimbledon. Mark Lieber makes his way off the field to be replaced by David Nielsen, the player signed on loan from Wimbledon. Had a loan spell with Grimsby last season. And now here's David Nielsen on the chase. It's David Nielsen, chance for a debut goal. David Nielsen has scored a debut goal. The cheekiest of chips over the goalkeeper, and David Nielsen scores on his debut for Norwich City. A cheeky goal, and a goal which has surely sealed all 3 points. Here is the cheeky chip over the goalkeeper, and Norwich are 2 goals clear. David Nielsen on loan from Wimbledon on his debut. Norwich 2 now, Coventry 0. Welcome to Carrow Road.
Nielsen would, of course, go on to become a permanent member of the playing staff and play a major part in City's march to the playoff final. He was on target again in the next match against Wimbledon.
And now a chance for Rivers to attack. That's a decent cross. Nielsen! Brilliant! Out of nothing, David Nielsen scores for Norwich City. His second goal since coming on loan. And the Blue Boys who were giving him the bird earlier on are silent. Brilliant cross, excellent header by Nielsen. It was beautifully directed. Davis got a touch on it, but couldn't keep it out. 2 appearances, 2 goals. Here's Nielsen. Nielsen against Cunningham, and Nielsen uses his pace and strength. He's only got 1 player in the penalty area, it's Ewan Roberts. Nielsen may not need him, he's gone down, it's a penalty, I think. Yes, the referee says it's a penalty. And there's going to be all sorts of trouble here now, because Kelvin Davis has just thrown the ball at David Nielsen. There's no doubt about it, he was definitely clipped, but he went down a lot later after the challenge. The referee has shown the red card to Kelvin Davis. His first task is to stop a penalty which is being taken by Ewan Roberts. Now then, Roberts scores! And Ian Foyer's first job is to pick the ball on the back of a net while Ewan Roberts celebrates his 11th goal of the season. Have Wimbledon got something here? They may well do. Cooper's inside the penalty area, and the referee has given another penalty. For the challenge on Cooper, Connolly is the man to take the penalty, and he's put Wimbledon back in the game.
A 2-1 scoreline, the 3rd successive home win for City.
I think back to 12 months ago, that result for this football club would have been massive. We didn't pass the ball as well when they went down to 10 and 9 men. We give it away far too cheaply, and the players know that. They know that themselves. So we know where we need to go, what we need to do. But we need to learn how to win a game more easily than what we're doing, certainly in today's game, where they're down to 9 men. We got to pass that ball with quality. We got to want the ball, and then thereafter look after it.
Well, David, I don't think you'll forget your full debut for Norwich in a hurry, will you?
No, it was a strange game, and I was obviously pleased with scoring a good goal and the team won, so I can say I contributed to that.
And talk us through the goal that you scored.
I mean, it's a great move. All of a sudden, Mark Rivers had the ball, and I thought, I've got to get in the box now, and made a good run, and then a good header, so it was a nice goal to score.
Away form continued to be much more patchy as a 2-0 defeat at Nottingham Forest on Boxing Day showed. Dave Pruton firing home a low drive to claim the lead at the City ground. And following a well-placed cross from the left, Stern John got there just ahead of Robert Green to head the ball into an empty net. A disappointing result this one, but at the start of the season City would certainly have settled for 4th place in Division 1 at Christmas. But what better way to end 2001 than with the best away performance of the season by far. Darren Kenton's magnificent solo effort paving the way for a 5-goal blitz against Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough. The home side did manage to rattle the Canary crossbar, but that simply served to sharpen the Canaries' appetite for victory. The increasingly confident Kenton heading through here for David Nielsen to maintain his goal-a-game average since his arrival from Wimbledon. Accepting the chance very gleefully indeed. A great goal for Nielsen. And within 10 more minutes, Nielsen was racing through yet again to double his tally and send the Canaries into a 3-goal lead. And before half-time, it was 4. Kenton heading back across goal and Paul McVeigh finding the vital touch at the far post. A goal which had the Canary fans scouring their memories for the last time they'd led 4-0 at half-time in an away match. Only 1 goal in the second half, but it was a special one. Gary Holt doesn't score too many, but when he does, they do tend to be very memorable.
As a former player coming back to your old club, how did you feel?
Well, it's always nice to come back and see people that you've worked with a number of years ago, but it's nice to come and get the points, and that's what it's all about. You've got to be professional. I'm working for Norwich City, and I'm delighted that we've got the 3 points and a good performance into the bargain.
And going into 2002, Norwich looking in very good shape. 4th in the table, all of which had Norwich followers expecting another goal feast on New Year's Day when lowly Walsall were the visitors.
McVeigh. Now Kenton. McVeigh again with a bit of space. Needs a decent cross. Found one. Rivers is in there. So is Nielsen. The Dane does it again. 12 minutes gone and David Nielsen makes it 5 goals in 5 appearances. McVeigh with a bit of space to play the ball forward. Rolled into the danger area. It was Rivers who had the first attempt, but it fell nicely for Nielsen, and he did the rest. So a corner, Yankulani will take it. And a scramble, and it's gone in! Corner swung in from the near post, up go the heads, and it was Steve Tilson who had the last touch.
Next in the league, a difficult task away to a Manchester City team playing with flair and verve. A massive crowd packed into Main Road was bound to provide a lively atmosphere for an important match.
Tiato. And that will be a free kick. And Tiato should be in some trouble.
The referee spotted that one.
He does have a reputation as being a firebrand, as Danny Tiato. And it's a red card for Danny Tiato. Drama at Main Road. With 11 minutes gone, they are down to 10 men, the home side.
That's incredible, Val. It just shows you now you can't raise your hands these days. Danny Tiato, as we mentioned, a bit fiery. Wasn't very impressed with Steen Lidegaard's attentions.
Well, now the game changes. Danny Tiato sent from the field by Roy Pearson. And you can see his anger there as he kicks over some water bottles. And Kevin Keegan is having to restrain his own player.
Well, it's all of the Norwich City water bottles there have been kicked over. Kevin Keegan not happy with his player's reaction.
A feisty old start to this game. And now one shot can burst forward for Manchester City. Still he goes, he's taken on Fleming and beaten him. Still one shot goes and Fleming bites back, but falls now to Gota. For Berkovic! And Ayal Berkovic this time makes no mistake. Manchester City lead by 1-0, and Ayal Berkovic, after missing a glorious opportunity, this time punishes Norwich with an ice cool finish.
Well, Norwich have got to be really disappointed with that. I mean, coming right from one end of the park, they had a cross good into the box. I think it was Richard Dunn headed it out to Polo one shot, but he went through one tackle. And coming up for another one, and really looked like he lost the ball there. Craig Fleming tried to clear it. Sean Goder plays it to the far post. And Berkovic first time and giving Robert Green no chance inside his left-hand post. Great cross there from Goder, and Berkovic not missing the target this time.
McVeigh's cross. Nielsen, stunning save, no, it's gone in, and Nielsen has levelled. 6 goals, 6 games. Norwich are back on terms.
Well, what a great start to the second half. I said that Nigel Worthington would have said, let's get right into them in the second half, and that's exactly what Norwich did. They won the corner there out on the far side. Steen Nedergaard taking lots and lots of stick from the fans. Paul McVeigh came running out for the short one here at the edge of the box. No one closes him down. It's a fantastic cross. Carlo Nash nearly saved it, but David Nielsen once again, his 6th goal for Norwich City. What a fantastic time to score it.
Well, you can ask no more than 6 goals in 6 games, and David Nielsen has really endeared himself to the Norwich fans. Now it's Ayal Berkovic with a chance to run. Looks for the run of Goder. It's Sean Goder away from Green, and Green caught him, and that is a penalty kick for Manchester City. Robert Green deemed to have impeded the Manchester City striker, and now the question is that a red card offence?
And Sean Goder leaves his legs in there. He's just got the ball there. I've seen them given, I've seen them not given. Robert Green not even getting talked to by the referee. No yellow card, no red card. Obviously very crucial situation now. One shot taking the kick.
10 goals so far this season for the Costa Rican. It's Paolo, one shot from the spot, one chop. Green got a hand to it, but the ball's in the net. It's 2-1 to Manchester City. Paolo, one chop.
Once again against the run of play, Manchester City getting some space. Ball flicked over the top by Berkovic. Paolo one shot doesn't miss in these situations. Robert Green unlucky there, he went the right way, just underneath his left hand.
The attack underway now, it's Berkovic still, he goes, still Berkovic, great run, superb goal from Ayal Berkovic. A move begun by the goalkeeper, finished by Ayal Berkovic, his second, a stunning goal for Manchester City. They lead by 3-1 now.
Well, what an incredible goal that is. Norwich, just when you thought they were going to get back into it, it was Steen Nedergaard with a cross into the box. Carlo Nash came and claimed that cross. A tremendous throw out. Gary Holt tried to intercept it, didn't quite get there. Berkovic running in a goal with Craig Fleming to beat. Goes past Craig and flicks the ball past Robert Green as well. What a great goal that was. Norwich obviously got to be disappointed though. Just goes past Craig Fleming there. Great footwork from Ayal Berkovic. And as Robert Green comes out to him, through his legs as well. 3-1 to Manchester City.
On Saturday, Carlo Cudicini stood between Norwich and a famous victory. Chelsea's Italian keeper first denying Paul McVeigh in a second half onslaught. David Nielsen missed this game and is still ineligible for the replay. McVeigh denied again here. Alex Notman has still to score this season. Another great save, and Norwich began to sense it wasn't their day. Cudicini saved his best till last, twice denying Mark Rivers as Chelsea held out for a draw. Now the big question, away at Stamford Bridge, can they do it?
Yep, definitely. Get West Ham back here and do that as well.
Sort of our away performance isn't fantastic, but yeah, I think we can beat them.
They've got a chance, yeah, it's going to be difficult.
Now a Norwich newsagent, Barry Bridges played over 200 matches for Chelsea, scoring on average a goal every other game. So he knows a great goal scorer when he sees one. Last night he was understandably impressed by the third of Chelsea's 4 goals, scored by Gianfranco Zola.
Unbelievable. You know, in my experience as a player, we used to, knock a ball about in the goal mess before we started proper training, and you do overhead kicks and you do little flicks and things like that just to show off to a certain extent. But it never happens in a match. In this case, it was a wonderful goal, and those little flicks that did come off. But he's a fabulous player.
Excitement ahead of the match last night was high. As well as the 3,000 fans who travelled to Chelsea, there were plenty more who packed into the lounges at Carrow Road. But after 11 minutes of the game, Chelsea's early pressure paid off. Mario Stanic given the goal, despite the claims of teammate Frank Lampard. Chelsea scored a second just after half-time. No doubts about Lampard's involvement this time. We've already seen Chelsea's third, but it's well worth another look. Mikel Forssell made it 4 in the dying seconds. Any dreams City had of cup progress, well and truly over. Now attention turns back to the league and Millwall on Sunday.
Robert Green lost his place to Paul Crichton for that next match at home to Millwall, but it was a red card for Darryl Russell which really coloured this game. Nigel Worthington called the decision pathetic.
It's not a sending off, but it sums the referee's performance up on the day. Pathetic, but there you go, you get these decisions and we've got to live with them. Yes, we will appeal, so we'll see how honest he is.
And there were 5 other bookings in the game as well.
Yeah, I don't think it was a dirty game by no means, but they make these decisions. People need to climb the ladder, and it's like traffic wardens. The more tickets you get, the higher up the ladder you go quickly.
Even with 10 men, Norwich almost clinched all 3 points when Steen Nedergaard's cross was met by Alex Notman. He was only denied by that superb point-blank save from Tony Warner. 9 days later, and a knee ligament injury for fullback Adam Drury was the major worry. He had to be stretchered off. But the 1-0 defeat was a big blow as well. City created a host of chances, but failed to capitalise on any of them. Sadly for the Yellows, Dean Ashton did have his scoring boots on, securing a home victory with 16 minutes of the match remaining. Norwich City ended their run of 6 matches without a win with a 2-1 success at home to Sheffield United in their first match of February. This despite the fact that their top scorer Ewan Roberts was no more than a keen spectator, joining club captain Neil Emblin, who missed the entire season through injury, on the sidelines.
Lumped up there by Simon Tracy. Finds Asaba though, who'll hold it up if he can. He'll lay it back. Ford! Great save! The save of the match so far. Bobby Ford hasn't scored a goal in over 2 years from open play, but he really leathered that one.
He just catches this on the half volley. Good play from Asaba. The ball's always going to the goalkeeper's right, and Green over very quickly. Good stop.
Kenton forward, McVeigh covered by Ulenbeek. Might just get around him as well. Ulenbeek sticking to his task though.
It's one of these games, John, as well. Nigel Wellington was saying it's not a good performance, we're struggling, but he'll take a late goal, he'll take a win.
Oh, would he ever? And so would Neil Warnock, of course. Oh, Page has missed it for once. Nielsen down the no penalty. They're going on. Score! And Darren Kenton has got into the Sheffield United penalty area, slipped it in past Simon Tracy. A mistake by Page initially, and Norwich have got their goal.
Well, I was just trying to think who's Norwich's best player this afternoon, and probably Kenton has been him. Especially defending at the far post with his pace as well. This time, deciding to get himself forward. Dermot Gallagher has a look at this. Could this be a possible penalty? Nielsen goes down. The referee says go on. Hesitation. I think it might have been Brown in there, or Tong. But Kenton keeps his cool. Good player. Page makes the first mistake. Then Currell's there, can't do anything. Down goes Brown or Tong, but a good finish from Kenton. And well done, Norwich needed that. A bit of adventure, someone taking a chance, someone believing and getting in the box, and Kenton keeping his cool well. That's the goal, the opener we wanted. 1-0 Norwich.
Bobby Ford was the one who went down, and Keith Curl looked as though he stood still for just a second. Page slipped as well. It was a comedy of errors, wasn't it, for United? So Norwich have the lead, 17 minutes left, and a corner. And that's going to give them a big lift. It's Kenton! Unbelievable! You wait 72 minutes for a goal, and then you just say to Darren Kenton, give us a goal, and he gives you 2.
Well, what about the marking here? Quite incredible. Sheffield United have just switched off, simple as that. Kenton can't believe his luck, the smile. Goodness me. But watch this, totally unmarked, a high swinging ball, everyone looking at it. Kenton almost on the penalty spot, sending the header downwards, skidding off the turf and into the empty net. And I think
Well, again, defenders, it's Brown again, can't keep it out, he's on the line this time, and Kenton has a brace.
They do need a goal now, Sheffield United, and badly, and here is the defender, Kenton, who's got both goals, up against Devlin in his more normal job. Through for Brown. Brown hits it well. What a cracker from Brown! This is unbelievable. A sensational strike from Michael Brown. I said United needed a goal, and Brown has given them one.
Well, for me, Michael Brown was at fault for the first goal, no doubt about it. Could have done better. Suddenly, he bursts into life, Brown. There's all this talk about him moving maybe to Crystal Palace. Finds himself half a yard on his left foot. There's no stopping that one. Top corner, Green, no chance. Devlin, just trickery on the right-hand side. Decides to come inside Kent to the two-goal hero. The Brown finds a bit of space. Just thinks about the shot. He catches this like a peach. Left-footed. Green just gets a hand to it, but the power, the velocity takes it past him. Now we have a game on 2-1.
Darren Kenton, congratulations, the Champagne Man of the Match award. You deserve it.
Thank you. You know, the team have been looking forward to that result for a while. You know, we've had a few draws and all, but it's good to get a win.
You couldn't have believed in your wildest dreams you'd get 2 goals in 2 minutes.
I know, it's just a bit of a mistake from their defender. He's just like trying to touch it back to the keeper. I was nipped in, finished the first one, and the header, I just headed it towards the goal. Didn't really mean to hit it in the bottom corner.
Isn't it an irony the strikers can't score, but you pop up from the back to score?
Yeah, I know. I've got Ewan Roberts in the background at the moment. He's one that's struggling for goals at the moment, but yeah, it's nice to get a goal.
A week later and the poor away form continued, despite the very best efforts of David Nielsen, who went so agonisingly close for City. The Albion winner came when Neil Clement chipped a perfect left-wing cross for Daniel Dicchio to produce a brilliant headed winner.
All credit to the lads. They've gone out and they've given, for me, a magnificent account of themselves, and Norwich City supporters should be proud of them.
And they should certainly be proud of Robert Green. His form in goal still going from strength to strength. And at least the home form continued to keep City in the promotion frame, once again thanks largely to some more goalkeeping heroics from Robert Green, denying former Manchester United player David Healy. The return of Ewan Roberts after a 7-week layoff helped too. City took the second half lead when Roberts headed home from Steen Nedergaard's in-swinging free kick. But there was a slice of good fortune about the second goal. Graham Alexander's back pass misjudged by keeper Teppi Molainen, who saw the ball go under his foot and into an empty net. The best was reserved for last. Philmar Ryan's curling free kick, completing a 3-0 scoreline, giving City a much-needed win. Another away match, another defeat, 2-1 at Watford. The scoring starting on 8 minutes as Micah Hyde slotted home from close range after the City defence failed to deal with the ball into the penalty area. Ewan Roberts did see this effort ruled out for offside, but even the most diehard of City fans could hardly complain about that. The home side went into the break 2 goals to the good, quite rightly so after an enterprising display. Good passing move resulting in a goal for Alan Nielsen. Not too much to cheer for travelling fans. City lost Robert Green through injury early in the second half before giving themselves some hope when Steen Nedergaard and David Nielsen set up a goal for Ewan Roberts. City struggling to find their true form. At this stage, the playoffs seemed an awful long way away. But at least City managed to stop their losing away run 4 days later at Burnley.
Now Burnley have a free kick in an advanced position taken quickly. That's aimed towards ball. And Burnley will get a corner. It was Dean West who won the corner. Robbie Blake inside the 6-yard box. Arthur Ganihiri arriving as well now, the Frenchman. It's the corner, and Taylor's up there, and it's gone in. Gareth Taylor will claim it, goal number 14 of the season for him. But a real mix-up on the line for Norwich City's defenders. And Burnley have the dream start. They lead by a goal to 0, and it's Gareth Taylor. It was Dean West with the corner. Taylor rose highest of all, past Crichton and through the legs of Steen Nedergaard. And Norwich, it's a messy goal, but a goal nonetheless. Burnley have the early advantage. Fleming's ball forward for Norwich. Might fall for Mark Libra. Libra's in here! Across the face of goal from Mark Libra. And the closest Norwich City have come by some considerable margin in this first half. It was played forward over the head of Naheri, and Libra, I think, tried to cross the ball for Benjamin. And Norwich City have not as yet forced a save from Marlon Beresford. Now Fleming. Andy Roberts. Nedergaard cuts inside. Cross for Libra, and Mark Libra has levelled the scores. His 6th goal of the season, and the Frenchman draws Norwich level at Turf Moor. To the delight of the travelling fans, Libra has levelled. It's Norwich City 1, Burnley 1. Here's the ball in, there's Libra, who timed his run and finished to perfection. Nedergaard's cross, Libra's finish, and Norwich, they're level. Wide for Nedergaard, who's always available on that right-hand side. Offers real options. Here is Nedergaard. Faced by Briscoe, deep cross, Libra's lurking, good save, Beresford off the post, and somehow it stays out from Libra's header with Beresford beaten. Burnley with a late great escape. This cross from Nedergaard, Libra's header. Beresford got fingers and Naheri got a touch as well, and somehow it stayed out.
A disappointing goalless draw at home to Rotherham United followed. If anything, it was the visitors who threatened to break the deadlock, hitting the Norwich woodwork and winning 8 corners compared to the Canaries' 3. Although City could have stolen the points, Mark Rivers, the unlucky man here, as a winning chance went begging.
He slipped it over the keeper, and unfortunately it's landed the wrong side of the post. But we've got to keep going, we've got to keep working, we've got to keep believing in what we're trying to achieve.
Norwich City definitely took their knocks in a physical game at Highfield Road against a Coventry City side still in the thick of the battle for a playoff place. Again, the Canaries were guilty of spurning some good chances. Phil Mulrine missing out here. But hopes were high that City could finally end their barren away run when Mark Libra finally put them ahead in first half injury time. But 2 second-half goals from Lee Hughes, the first from the penalty spot 6 minutes after half-time. And the second in the very dying seconds condemned City to their 6th defeat in 7 away games. Friday the 15th of March, and a taste of things to come as City went down at home to Birmingham City. Stern John had scored against the Canaries for Nottingham Forest earlier in the season. He repeated the dose with 22 minutes gone to leave the Canaries a lowly 10th place in the table. What odds at that stage of promotion push? Gary Holt missed a second half penalty. Not good, but a run of 6 wins and 2 draws in the next 8 matches was about to follow. And the roots of City's revival can be traced back to a victory over Gillingham at Carrow Road. Ife Onyura gave the Gills a shock first half lead, but City went on to win 2-1, a result which in no way reflected the total dominance of the match. The second penalty miss could have cost Norwich dear, Phil Mulrine the guilty man there, but a fighting second half performance earned 3 priceless points. David Nielsen's right-wing cross swept home by Clint Easton to put the Canaries back on level terms. And Carrow Road erupted 10 minutes later when City scored what proved to be the winner. Steen Nedergaard with a cross, Darren Kenton with a perfect finish. A 2-1 win, putting the Canaries back within 3 points of the playoff places. Next up, an away match at Wolves.
Here now is Darren Kenton for Norwich City. Mulrine wide for Steen Nedergaard. His cross too high for Nielsen, might fall over for Kenton here. As men in the centre, Kenton's cross, Easton on the volley, and a good save from Michael Oates from Clint Easton's volley. Easton, who scored on Tuesday against Gillingham, denied here by a point-blank save by Michael Oates. Helped on from Mohamed Kamara. Camera's ball in, might fall for Kenny Miller, chance for Wolves deflected, and Green with a stunning reflex save deflects the ball away. Kenny Miller was causing havoc, but the deflection in the end was off Craig Fleming for Norwich, and Green denies him. Camera. Good strong run as he takes on Steen Nedergaard. Cross towards Nathan Blake, arriving now, and Green with a really good save from Nathan Blake. You have to be brave to be a goalkeeper, and Green was certainly that, with Nathan Blake bearing down. He made himself big and deflects the ball away. Camera's throw for Wolverhampton Wanderers for Jolyon Lescott. Now Nielsen is in the clear here. Two defenders tracking him back, though. Polle comes across and makes a really good challenge for Wolves. Ludovic Polle and Muscat and Oates between them get the ball away, but Ludovic Polle is the Wolves hero. A great challenge from him on Wolves corner in the closing minutes now. Is this their last chance, you wonder? It's Colin Cameron's strike and deflected away, and a good save from Robert Green. It came through a crowd of bodies from Cameron, and Green there denies him with a super save.
A good point, and 3 more were to follow against Palace.
Norwich tried to build from midfield. It's with Darren Kenton at the moment. Ryan. Threading through. Nielsen with a chance here. David Nielsen! He's broken his goal drought, which stretches back to the end of January. And the deadlock broken for Norwich City. It's 7 goals now for David Nielsen. It was a beautiful ball forward by Ryan. Nielsen turning Austin, and the finish was absolutely delicate. The Dane just spinning away from his man, and the finish absolutely fantastic. Aimed towards Akinbaye, but it's easily headed away by Kenton. Rialati. Murphy always caught short, and Nielsen has it. He's got McVeigh ahead of him, and he's also got Nedergaard outside him. Here's Nedergaard. Decent cross needed. Oh, superb goal by Paul McVeigh. 2 goals in 2 minutes. And you can see what it means to the Norwich supporters. Beautifully made goal, decent cross from Nedergaard, and a glancing header. Matt Clark had committed himself to the near post. He couldn't get anywhere near that header from McVeigh. Beautifully delivered from Nedergaard, and McVeigh's header into the far post.
April the 1st, All Fool's Day, but Norwich were wise guys at Bradford. OK, they did have quite a bit of defending to do, but they did it extremely well. And in the end, a 1-0 win, courtesy of a late goal from Paul McVeigh, finally had the Canary faithful really believing they could finish in the top 6. The goal came just 4 minutes from the final whistle and would prove crucial in the end of season reckoning. It puts City level on points with 6th placed Birmingham, and with just 3 regular season matches remaining, it was Grimsby at home next.
Easton's ball in, Coyne comes and headed over his own crossbar by Danny Butterfield it was. Now Danny Coyne has to defend a corner. Testing one as well, and into the net! It's Malky Mackay! His 2nd goal of the season, and the skipper Malky Mackay breaks the deadlock early on. Norwich lead Grimsby by 1-0. Malky Mackay, his 2nd goal this season. In came the corner. Always a handful, Malky Mackay, and the skipper breaks the deadlock. Kenton holds off the challenge of Butterfield. Kenton still goes, crossing chance for Darren Kenton, and almost off for McVeigh, and driven back in there, and the ball is hacked away eventually by Grimsby. Ryan with a chance. Now here's McVeigh, onside Paul McVeigh, and just over. Well, he scored in the last 2 games, McVeigh, crucial goals, and here he almost had a 3rd in 3 games. A real chance for McVeigh, the ball played back in. Easton on for McVeigh, onside, real opportunity, and the goalkeeper did just enough. Cook's delivery, men arriving far post, off the crossbar, and Norwich clear their lines eventually, and McVeigh can break now for Norwich, can he? Gallimore comes across, and Fleming now into the stand. Well, a let-off for Norwich City. The header against the crossbar, and that slender lead remains intact. Just picks out Gallimore, his ball in towards Livingston. It'll come for Terry Cook, chance for Grimsby, Cook strike, it's an equaliser, and how crucial could that be for Norwich City in their quest for a playoff place? Terry Cook, on loan from Manchester City, has hit a screamer past Robert Green. Helped on by Livingston, Cook strike inside Green's near post. A fine finish, and you've got to say it's been coming. How important a goal could that be in the First Division this season? And Nielsen will chase. Has he got the pace? Nielsen, he goes down, and Nielsen has won Norwich a penalty. It was Mike Flynn with the contact, and Nielsen went to ground spectacularly. And Norwich have a penalty kick, which Nielsen himself is going to take. Nielsen, saved by Marriott. And how crucial could that kick and that save be? The gilt-edged chance for Norwich has gone by. Here's the corner towards Mackay, and squeezed in from Nielsen. This time, no mistake. The man who missed the penalty makes amends in fine style and sends the travelling Norwich fans into raptures. A spell of pressure yields a goal, and a goal for the man who missed the penalty. Mackay's header back across goal, and Nielsen a poacher strike. Nielsen away from Morgan. His pace is explosive in short bursts, David Nielsen. That's how he won the penalty. And Rivers and Nielsen causing all kinds of problems there for Morgan, and I think Morgan has conceded the free kick. Ball played in, danger here, and forced in by Paul McVeigh. The goal is given. There was a nervous look from Paul McVeigh, but how important could that goal be for Norwich City and for Barnsley as well? Clear breathing space for Norwich. And these fans who've made the long journey from Norfolk, they left at 9 o'clock this morning from Carrow Road. Contrast their emotions to those of the Barnsley fans. They know their team now are odds on to be playing in Division 2 next season. For Norwich, well, there's hope for the playoffs yet.
Prophetic words indeed. Barnsley did go down, and with Stockport at home in their final scheduled game, Norwich needed a win and by as many goals as possible to extend their season into the playoffs.
A big day, a big game, a big atmosphere, just what Nigel Worthington will want at Carrow Road today. A full house. The tickets for this one sold out over a week ago. And the atmosphere will be something to savour and something that should lift the Norwich players. So 90 minutes that will decide the outcome of Norwich's season. To reiterate, Norwich need to win, and other teams must slip up if Nigel Worthington's side are to extend their season into the lottery of the playoffs. Helped on by Easton from McVeigh. Here's Gary Holt, named as Player of the Year just before kick-off. Early touch for Darren Kenton, who's been among the goals in home games this season, scored twice here against Sheffield United in an important 2-1 win a few months ago. Alan Brazil, important for Norwich to make the early start, get an early goal perhaps.
Absolutely, you know, there's a...
And David Nielsen almost did get the early goal. Now, was that handball against Andy Dibble?
Danny should be off. The goalkeeper should be off. For me, Andy Dibble's used his left hand. I think the referee's a difficult decision to make early in the game. Andy Dibble hit with his left hand as far as I'm concerned. We'll see it again in a minute, but I think he's lucky to stay on.
Well, the referee is talking to his assistant. We'll see here the replay.
It's got to go.
Now Paul Althorpe, this could be his final game as a referee. He's got a tough decision to make early on. Andy Dibble, 36 years old, a much travelled veteran, may well be off. He is off.
Follows his jersey. Oh dear, what a blow for Stockport. You know, they've got a young side out, they're looking for leadership. Andy Dibble, one of the older players. Difficult decision, you know. It's come to him very quickly, it's hit him on his left hand, but the rules say goodbye, he has to go.
A player of very little goals, first team experience, James Spencer. He will have 88 minutes plus to perform here at Carrow Road. And he's replacing an outfield player, of course, Andrew Thomas. Easton's corner. Free header away, not very far away though. Holt's in there. And McVeigh saved, might fall for Kenton. And Kenton claims penalty.
No, I think the referee's made the right decision here, I really do. Kenton on the ground, tracking his left foot. A good stop from the youngster Spencer. Good challenge from Norwich players. Spencer right in the way. The ball breaks, Kenton trying on the end of it. Referee was correct.
Lots of yellow shirts around the penalty spot. Rivers will strike the ball just over the crossbar, onto the crossbar in fact, and away behind the goal.
Well, from a goalkeeper's point of view, it's just right of centre. I thought young Spencer would have got this. Maybe just took his eyes off it, or perhaps felt it was going over it. Just dips Rivers with his right foot. Watch the dip at the last moment off the top of the bar.
Well, the closest we've come to a breakthrough for Norwich City after, 17 and a half minutes of play. Second chance for Easton. Deeper this time. Mackay's forward. And McVeigh's in there! Super save from James Spencer. Easton keeps the ball in play.
What a save from Spencer. You have to ask yourself, you're Carlton Palmer, how can McVeigh get above the road? He's tiny. But Mackay, great head of the far post. What a save. Superb stuff.
Well, the young goalkeeper here with a save he will cherish for the rest of his career. A few anxious faces, checking scores elsewhere via the old mobile phone. Easton's corner. Spencer with the punch, might fall for Fillmore Ryan to volley one, deflected, it's the breakthrough, it's Fillmore Ryan! That's the goal they wanted, that's the goal they needed, Fillmore Ryan with a deflection, it's the breakthrough!
I think this is deflected, it might be Challoner. Good punch from the goalie, he tries to scramble back in his line, I think it hits big Challoner, and just deflects past Spencer. Into the net, there's a deflection, cruel bit of luck for County. Challoner's head goes to his hands, Spencer dives to his right, it sneaks in just inside that right hand post.
Well, deep in stoppage time, Fillmore running what could be his last game for Norwich City has scored what could well prove to be a vital goal. Norwich leads Stockport County by 1-0 in the final throes of this first half.
And anxious young fans already listening out for news from elsewhere on a nail-biting afternoon.
A second goal would really ease the nerves and ease the tension around Carrow Road.
It's good play from Malky Mackay.
Easton, has Nielsen got the pace? He may well have. It's Mark Rivers, he must score surely. Superb save once again from James Spencer. Rivers simply had to score.
Oh dear. Fantastic from the goalkeeper. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Stockport's corner. Deep one. Looping in off the crossbar. And Malky Mackay away. Back in by Welsh. And behind, but a real nervous scare for Norwich and a real chance for Stockport. Goodness off the crossbar.
Me. This is Rob Kate. I think it's Rob Clare at the far post, I think. The third centre-half. Looping header. Oh, that goes in. Disaster time. What a let-off.
Well, anxious moments. Any way they can find out about goals elsewhere. at Turf Moor. Burnley lead Coventry by 1-0 now. Mulrine with a strike. Keeper's lost it. There's McVeigh. Oh, into the stand behind the goal from Paul McVeigh. Another great sight of goal.
Well, you just wonder, had a horrible feeling that Burnley were going to get one. And this is a great chance. Mulrine again, who's been instrumental now. Good stop, palms it out. McVeigh from 8 yards? It's not easy, but hit the target. Power from Mulrine, punched out from Spencer. Now, can he hit the target? No, is the answer.
Now Drury. Jinks away from Clare. McVeigh with a crossing opportunity. Takes on the full back, in goes the cross. And away by Fredine. Still the danger, not pass for Stockport County. Drury's there. McVeigh on the chest, instant control. McVeigh still goes. Holt can strike them. Just wide from Gary Holt.
Whoa, and that is just wide. That is just wide. How fitting for Player of the Year if he'd have found the back of the net there. Good play from McVeigh. First of all, tries to be clever, doesn't work, still retains possession, just rolls it. Holt keeps it down right-footed, and that misses that upright just through the legs of Challoner and a couple inches wide. Very unlucky from Gary Holt. Spencer had no chance of that one.
So much pressure, just one goal to show so far though. Another Norwich corner. Aimed towards Malky Mackay, and Malky Mackay has done it! Clear breathing space for Norwich City. They lead by 2-0. The relief around Carrow Road is palpable. The captain with a crucial goal, and the playoffs are within touching distance.
Well, he had a chance a few moments ago on his left foot, couldn't convert. This time the big fella at the far post. I think it's Clare who's marking him. Can't get to get, but great ball the far post, a yard out. Brilliant ball in, to be honest. Spencer no chance. Mackay outleaps the defence, and that could send Norwich into the playoffs. At the far post, good leap for the big fella. No one marking him. 2-0.
We are now 2 minutes over the 90. We are deep in stoppage time. Norwich lead by 2-0. Will this be enough? Will they come back to rue missed chances?
Well, just say the referee look at the linesman and put 5 fingers up. Surely not. No, I think 5 seconds. It must be 5 seconds.
It is indeed. There is the final whistle. So, Norwich City have beaten Stockport County here by 2-0. Malky Mackay, the captain, scored the second goal for Nigel Worthington's team after Phil Mulrine had scored the first in the first half to put them on their way. And you just wonder if these 2 goals from Mackay and Mulrine will be enough. So much now depends on events elsewhere.
But these celebrations told their own story. Results elsewhere did go exactly according to plan. Norwich City able to look forward to the lottery of the playoffs, an exciting end of season guaranteed. Fans, players and directors anticipating their first ever taste of playoff action against Wolves.
What a great day for you both and for Norwich City.
It's unbelievable. It's probably the most exciting day of my life. It's the best match we've had for 7 years, the most important one, and I still can't believe it. I don't know whether to cry or what to do, I'm just absolutely amazed.
And the atmosphere, fantastic.
Oh my God, the fans have been brilliant today, absolutely brilliant, as they were at Barnsley as well.
But look at this reception they're giving them now.
They deserve everyone.
But those fans deserve it. They have stuck with us through thick and thin, and our thanks to them for all they've done to make this football club great.
Great indeed, a great finish to a great season. 6th place secured for Norwich City in the final table. They would play Wolverhampton Wanderers, who'd finished 3rd in the playoff semi-finals. A ticker-tape welcome for the teams at Carrow Road as the Canaries and Wolves were greeted by a sea of green and yellow, ahead of what proved to be a real cracker of a playoff match.
Cooper
in ahead of Kenton. Newton and Dean Sturridge for Wolves. Number 21 of the season. Now they're feeling better.
Well, that's a great time for Wolves. Dean Sturridge back on form. Cooper does really well. Great balling, superb head back by Newton, and that acrobatic attempt by Blake to Stephen Mackay. Sturridge though just working the ball into that yard of space, and he wasn't going to miss from there. Terrific finish.
Oh, for Norwich, the angst, but such delight for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Rivers. And Malky Mackay couldn't react to the ball. Fell at his feet, he wasn't expecting it.
Well, I think Nielsen had an opportunity just to get a little touch on it. And really that deceived, I think, a few of them in there.
Nigel Worthington a worried man then at half-time, but events were about to take a major upturn.
Norwich still struggling to get a firm grip on this game. It's not often been a problem for them at home, although overall they've lost a third of their games in the First Division, 15 defeats, 13 of them away. That's a corner.
They'll hope that the delivery by Easton is a little bit more accurate and try and give something for Mackay to attack. They have had the 5 corners there, but really there hasn't been that much quality on the balls that have been thrown in.
Well, a Clint Easton corner from that side provided Malky Mackay with a goal last week against Stockport. That was met by Lescott. Another chance for Easton to swing one in, and it's Mackay beneath it for Norwich. And the shot has crept in! Mark Rivers! His first goal in nearly 5 months. And Norwich, to scenes of Norfolk delirium, are back on terms.
Well, it really shouldn't have found its way in, because I think it was a little bit of a hopeful shot more than anything else. The initial corner was a good ball in. Holt didn't get a little bit of a flick on, but when it came back to Easton, he just threw such a high ball in. Mackay, all he could do was really head it back into the danger zone. And then Rivers just put his left foot onto it. Somehow it found its way into the bottom corner. Terrific strike back.
Plenty of former Norwich managers watching. John Dean, behind him Bruce Rioch, and behind him the last incumbent, Brian Hamilton. The only one we haven't seen is John Bond. Drury, Easton, and there's McVeigh! It's 2-1 Norwich! And just about the smallest player on the pitch has scored with a leaping header.
That was a fabulous little header. It was neatly worked by Norwich. Nice bit of play. Certainly they've controlled things for quite a few minutes now. Neat little build-up. Drury, Easton, nice little ball in. He's ghosted in McVeigh. Nobody picked him up at all. He just glanced that ball. It was in as soon as it left his head. Oakes was never going to get near it.
It's been an afternoon of ebb and flow. Green opting to punch. Perhaps a final opportunity for Norwich to try and extend their lead. Gary Holt, third of 4 additional minutes. Here's Notman. And it's out of play for a goal kick. Or has the referee decided that he's given the free kick?
Yeah, I think it's a free kick.
He's got a booked camera.
I don't think he meant to foul Notman at all, Cameron. He obviously went for the ball. He just felt that he might just be able to get there and block it. A little bit unfortunate because Notman, nice little touch, just clipping it over the top of Camera.
So a booking for Mohamed Camera, and with 30 seconds to play, a free kick for Norwich City. Trying to double their money. Malky Mackay! Unbelievable! The man of the match, Malky Mackay, has put Norwich one giant stride closer to the playoff final.
Well, we've questioned Easton's delivery on a number of occasions, I have to be honest. The second half it's improved, that ball was fantastic. I mean, only one winner again, Mackay coming onto it, Butler finding it hard to go backwards and then get up as high as Mackay. Simple little nod down, Oakes coming well under it, the delivery was superb by Easton.
And that could make all the difference for that second leg at Molineux. Barely time for Wolves to hit back. Gunnar Haller, there's Mackay on the half volley. No one in their seats around Carrow Road, save for the Wolves supporters who look downcast. It's happened to them so many times before. But for Malky Mackay and Norwich, it is joy unconfined, because that is it. And Norwich, who trailed 1-0, have won the first leg of this playoff semi-final by 3 goals to 1. And the captain's goal in the 94th minute has made such a big difference.
A big difference indeed. Malky Mackay's goal there would prove crucial as he led the team out for the return match at Wolves, a match which produced the best atmosphere since those European nights of the early 90s. City just 90 minutes away from a place at the Millennium Stadium, but the home fans equally desperate to end their long exile from the top flight of English football.
Mackay. Alfred Cameron. Header out by Mackay. Newton. Missed kick by Fleming. Blake's onto it. Oh, what a save by Green. What a reaction. Camera. And out by Mackay and on by McVeigh.
Well, the first save was good, but you know, the second save was really brave. He hesitated for the briefest of seconds, and then he decided to go all the way, because I think at first Wolves looked favourite for that second ball.
Holt. McVeigh. Rivers. Rivers with the cross, and Easton!
Super ball, Mark Rivers. Just got a little angle, fine quality cross, posed all the questions to Oaksy, he did very well, but wasn't that a good cross? Easton couldn't quite get a clean connection.
And again Cameron delivers. All right out, but there wasn't really an outlet for Norwich. Cooper, Lesker. Butler let it roll. Cameron took it up. It's Colin Cameron through the crowd, and Green just about hung on. He may have seen that very late. In the first instance, therefore, it was a decent stop. And with strikers running in at him at full pelt, it was then a particularly brave gather.
It was a super strike through bodies. It's what Norwich have got to do. He's prepared to have a go, Cameron. He hits it, and it really is a good save. The recovery is even better. Blake was pouncing. Blake scores so many goals like that from little knockdowns. He's just ferreted away from Blake. Could have been a nasty one for the goalkeeper, that.
Holt for Norwich, who are closing in on something special here.
And Wolves are tiring just a little bit in the centre of the field, I feel.
Mulrine. Easton. Aimed in towards Ewan Roberts, who might have settled it.
Perhaps should have settled it. It's a beautiful cross. It's Easton. He's in front, he's got in front. Cameron's allowed him to sneak inside.
Last quarter of an hour, Butler forward, Kenton up in the air. Kennedy has to make an impact soon. Such away from him. Camera.
Once again, poor cross.
Back in by Cooper! Oh! Now that ignites the night! Absolute screamer from Kevin Cooper! And Wolves have hope! What a hit!
Once again, it came from a poor cross. It was knocked out. Cooper had time to set his sights, and he struck it beautifully. All the power in the world, both feet in the air after impact. Great shot.
Number 10, Kevin Cooper. Hauled over by Holt.
Had a good second half, Cooper. He's been the man that's really sparked Wolves, I feel, with his willingness to attack players with the ball.
And Holt stood on his ankle. 3 minutes and counting. Kennedy over the free kick. Cooper is hobbling away. Kennedy's delivery. Oh, wide from Butler. It was a big chance. And doesn't he know it? And doesn't he know it?
Seemed to go up in slow motion, didn't he? Maybe it came too well. It was a lovely ball in. Unmarked.
Now the party does cautiously begin. Just cautiously. And for them, it's something more approximate to a wake. Because Norwich City, this friendly club from the country, Delia Smith's club, are going to the final. What an achievement for Nigel Worthington. It will be a tortuous journey, the breadth of the country, from east to west. But how happily the Canaries will fly there, while the Wolves will fly off on their premature holidays, contemplating a 19th consecutive year out of the top flight. They had been able to reach out and touch the Premiership, but the Premiership has got away. More resignation, more disappointment, more tears, more disenchantment. They've let them down, they say. But Ewan Roberts' toothless grin is what sums up Norwich's joy. Delia Smith's ovation. Just 6.5 weeks ago, they were 10th. They were 20 points behind Wolves. They finished 11 points behind Wolves. But they've now left Wolves behind. The tunnel they exit is from the First Division. For one of these sides, the tunnel through which they return will lead into the Premiership. From east to west, the breadth of the country, the Norfolk folk have travelled. And what was the M5 invented for, if not to bring Blues fans to Cardiff?
Yes, Norwich Birmingham in front of a packed house at the Millennium Stadium. Fireworks ahead of the game, fireworks during it too. Real drama ready to unfold in the playoff final.
All right. Shaken off it by Hughes, who has Stern John with him. And he's played in Stern John, who's steered it wide. First big opening of the final falls to Birmingham City and to Stern John, whose last minute...
It's all from the full pressing by Brian Hughes. As he's been the most attack player in the field. As he cuts in Stern John, he tries to take it off the outside of his right foot and just bend it round. I think he maybe should have tried to take the keeper on a little bit, open the keeper out a bit, and then got his shot away.
Through by McVeigh, Nielsen, problems for Johnson. Nielsen's in and wide. And Vassar is conducting an inquiry and passing a guilty verdict, it seems, on Michael Johnson.
Well, that's it, when defenders have the ball put behind him, he's got time, he's got tangled up, he thinks the keeper's coming to get and deal with it, and to be fair, that was once again, we've just seen a gilt-edged chance at one end of the field. That to me was an excellent.
And homing forward, this is a thrilling run from Gary Holt for Norwich City. And he's fed it here for Rivers. And it's come through to Easton. Almost of the energy and bustle and desire of Gary Holt.
Magnificent work from Holt. I mean, the acceleration and the drive here. You think he's going to pop Rivers in? He's actually on the drive here. You think he's going to pop Rivers in? He's actually been knocked to play towards Rivers. I thought Rivers might have pulled the trigger there. He's played a fair ball in there, and Easton really goal gaping, got anxious, got excited. little bit more composure and Norwich would be leading the game.
John. Stern John closed out by Drury. There's a way out to Devlin. Kenner. Mooney climbing. And Horsfield! Oh, what a save!
That was phenomenal. That was what we talked about earlier. Mooney coming around the back stick. Big header back across the goal. Horsfield, I think Norwich thought he may have been offside. But you mentioned earlier about Robert Green being an excellent, promising young goalie. I'll tell you what, that's as good a save as you'll see this season.
Kenton got it back from Rivers and drove towards the area and found McVeigh! Touched over.
Yeah, should have scored. He's had 2 sighters in the first half that were hard. I mean, he does ever so well here, Kenton. He drives into the box, cuts it back, picks a pass. A good save from Vassam, but I feel that McVeigh has got good enough feet to have made a better attempt than that.
Granger, Horsfield, Teverley!
Well, you talk about the save that would have put somebody down in folklore. If that had have hit the back of the net, he'd have been a local hero in Birmingham, that's for sure. It's a good 2-0, 2 players miss it. He's got a good sighting on it, but unfortunately he's leaning back. And I think it's Gary Holt again, just does enough to put him off. There's a chance there, Holt just puts himself in there and maybe makes it awkward for him.
Drury. McVeigh. Roberts. Mulrine. A goal now is the winner. Notman. McVeigh. In by Notman. Oh, Roberts was waiting to finish the game. What a header by Kenner. What a captain's intervention this is.
Peter, the football played was at the highest order. Great football, great crossing. The big man there lurking on the back post. He can see glory. And Kenner, the opposite captain's made a great retrieving header. But the football that led up to it was sensational.
Notman's corner. Well claimed by Vassam.
He must have caught every corner, I would think, Vassam.
The whistle has gone. 90 minutes are up.
So 0-0 it was after 90 minutes, the strain obvious on the faces of all the Norwich City fans. Another 30 minutes of nail-biting action was to follow, everyone obviously hoping to avoid a nerve-wracking penalty shootout. And it was Norwich City who took the first half of extra time by storm.
Easton. McVeigh. Oh, Granger's missed it. Notman has it. It's Alex Notman for Norwich. It's Notman's cross. It's Roberts! The big man, the Welshman in Cardiff for Delia and the boss. Norwich stare at the Premiership.
Roberts there, he's injured, he's gone down injured. Granger won't be happy letting the ball go beyond him. Measured his crossing, but that's what he's in the side for. He needs crosses, he thrives on crosses. That's a good one. You perhaps should say Martin Granger might, having made the initial slip, get back and shut the cross off, but that is a textbook header. That's what he wants, the ammunition.
Kenner. John. Horsfield! Equaliser! It's going to the wire again. And Jeff Horsfield, whose goal took them into the playoffs, has them back on terms in the playoff final.
That's what I've been saying though, Peter. They go back, they invite pressure, one ball in, one knockdown header, and Horsfield's in on it. And there it is, it's stood in there. We've seen that so many times, a knockdown header. And I thought for a minute the keeper had almost made the same save as he made in the first half. But Horsfield's in on it. But the more you go back, the more you invite pressure. And I think Daryl Such has been brought on for that reason, to sort of try and block off headers.
Phil Mulrine. Clawed out by Vasson. Went over to the wall to the unexpected top corner.
Yeah, maybe with a touch more pace than he might have done, Vasson there. That's quite a good save.
Another couple of blue noses. Sniffing a goal, perhaps. Right in front of them here. Granger's free kick. Off the post! And out by Roberts to Lazaridis. And behind by Easton. Michael Johnson half an inch away from promotion.
And he is at that ball's whipped in, that's almost undefendable, and that's a great header. Norwich breathe again.
It was off the very corner of the post. It was in through their eyes. And his. The final whistle going. It is 1-1 after extra time, and we are about to experience a £40 million penalty shootout. Who would you want to lead the way but him? Ewan Roberts, whose goal for 12 minutes had Norwich in the Premiership. Nico Vasson has saved a Norwich penalty in the league already this season from Gary Holt. That might be a contest resumed later in the shootout. First it is Roberts. The talisman scores.
Very calm, very tidy. No nerves, just tucked it away, keep it going the wrong way.
His save at the end of the first half was superhuman. More heroics perhaps. Stern John. In the postage stamp. Bottom left.
Close, very close. He side foots it, the keeper's nearly got a hand to it.
Only 7 weeks ago, Phil Mulrine failed from the spot. And does so again. Great save from Vasson. Advantage Birmingham.
Yes, he struck it fairly straight. Vasson was actually on his way and he's caught it with, if you like, with his wrong hand.
Drained. All of them drained. Paul Devlin, who signed for Birmingham City for the second time only this week. And scores for them.
That's a cracking penalty. Looking nowhere, but at the back of the ball, hits it as hard as he can. Keeper's gone the right way. Not a chance.
Daryl Such, not a player on the field to whom this day means more. He is Norwich. They look to him. All his career, a Carrow Road man, a Canary. Daryl Such has rolled it wide, and it's fading away for Norwich. And that is so sad, and that smile from Delia is so weak, and you feel for this guy. If Birmingham score now, then Norwich can't afford to miss again. Stan Lazaridis did score in both of last year's shootouts against Preston and Liverpool. And scores now, and Birmingham are on the brink.
The game swung backwards and forwards, but I can't see it swinging again, can you?
If Clint Easton misses,
they're going to need a miracle.
He has to score. He has to score. He scored just. Darren Carter for the Premiership. The Premiership!
So near, yet so far. Still, though, a wonderful season for Norwich City.
It's always horrible going out on penalties, but we couldn't have done any more.
And the fans were fantastic as well. They deserve.
Oh, they're brilliant. You know, they didn't stop singing. You know, even when it got to 1-0, we're saying that it's a tough game. You know, I thought we'd done enough. I thought we played really well. First 15 minutes they came at us and we stood up to it, and I thought the boys played tremendous. And to be fair, to lose in penalties, it's a lottery then, and that's what's happened.
Good group of guys, a great bunch of people here, great team spirit. It's a great club. Great credit to the management and the staff. This club is where it is today after last season. We can only go on from here. Playoffs next year, why not? Don't see why not. Great bunch.
I don't want to ever come back here and play this again. We're going to go all out and try and get promotion next year, because this is horrible.
The whole occasion has been magnificent. If there's any justice, we'd have got promotion. The supporters have been magnificent all season. What a wonderful occasion. Hopefully everybody's enjoyed it, even though we've not got promoted. We've had a wonderful season. We've laid the foundations, and let's hope we can go and build on that.